Hi guys, welcome to Find Your Legacy's very first podcast. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for supporting us and supporting our mission, and we look forward to growing with you. So, for today's very first podcast, like I said, we are going to be talking about what Find Your Legacy is and how I came about founding it. And then for future podcasts, I really want to focus on transitional tips from high school to college and from college into adulthood and your career. So I then want to touch on motivation. And the reason why is because motivation is a mindset that you have to have every day. And so I want to give tips for how to achieve that. And then I also want to talk about self-care. I love self-care. And the reason is because, like this program and the society that we live in, we are very focused on who we are in the future and how to get to that person. Where if you neglect the needs, your emotional needs, your physical needs, your mental needs, your spiritual needs of the now, you will get burnt out. So I want to give advice and tips to combat that. So let's begin to talk about what Find Your Legacy is. Find Your Legacy is a nonprofit based in Charlotte, North Carolina, but we address issues that are going to reach nationwide. That's our end goal because we have a solution for problems that high schoolers face everywhere. It's not just in Charlotte. So what we do is a 2-part program, and both parts are free. I repeat, F-R-E-E, free. The first part is we set high schoolers up with college mentors online, and this is only 2 to 3 weeks, so it's very short. It's not a long commitment. You don't have to drive to meet up anywhere. What the college mentor does is uploads all their course content from their major that the high schooler, is interested in. So they will upload to a Google Doc format that we will give them, course syllabi, test prep, essays they've had to write, all their past courses they've taken, group assignments, projects, everything that they've had to do that they have on paper so far in their college career, so that the high schooler can really get a true idea of what that major is about. And again, this only lasts 2 to 3 weeks. We say that because you could email something and then the high schooler could email you the next day with a question, and then you respond 2 days later. And then, so we usually give it about 2 to 3 weeks to really get all questions answered and get all the documents uploaded. So that's our first part. Our second part sets the college student and the high school student up with a professional in the field to share their story. So they'll hear the professional's story, how they got started, how they got to where they are, advice, pros and cons of the field, and the college student really has a networking opportunity doing this. And guys, do not underestimate the power of networking. A lot of people get their first internships by who they know, and a lot of people get their first job by who they know. Never underestimate who you know. And you can ask questions like, what do you guys look for when hiring? Get some resume advice, which is very important, and get some internship advice. Find out what you need to do to get your foot in the door, and find out how long that process of climbing up that ladder, that corporate ladder, whatever field you'll be in, how long it takes to get to where that professional that you're interviewing is at now. And then this is really good for the high school student because they can find out if they really see themselves working in that field. So the high school student's going to find out if they really see themselves doing the work in college and really see themselves liking the work environment. And that only lasts about 1 to 2 hours, and that is like online through the phone, Skype, email, or it can be in person. It's really up to the discretion of the professional. So again, that's our program. You can repeat it as many times as you want. I love our program. I'm so excited. I just think it's so beneficial. Our partners love it. Colleges love it because, you know, college students gain from it. So they're not only volunteering, but they're gaining something back. And high schools obviously love it because it's helping their kids succeed and graduate and go to college. And it's really important for high schoolers to know what they want to do before they go to college. Let me give you guys some sad but true statistics. Half of high schoolers applying to college will apply as undecided. And 80% of college students change their major 1 to 3 times. That is wasting time. That is wasting money. That is wasting resources. So sign up for our program so you can avoid those statistics. And college students, my beautiful dears, if you're listening, only 27% of college students actually gain employment in their field. Only 27%. So you've really got to buck up and combat that awful statistic. Be a part of it, help it grow by figuring out really your network and how to get your foot in the door. So those are statistics, and that's why this program is so important and is going to spread nationwide because it affects so many people. So who I am, again, my name is Danielle, and the reason why I founded Find Your Legacy is because I was a mentor when I lived in Florida through an amazing program called Hillsborough Education Foundation. If you really want a supportive program that allows you to give back to the youth and is fun, I definitely advise, if you're in Hillsborough County, to check it out. So I met with my little mentee. She was in high school, and how I bonded with her, because it was a mentoring program, was through finding out what she wanted to be. And you know, she was going to college soon, so that's how my approach was to mentoring. What do you want to be when you get older? Well, I think I want to be this. Okay, well, let's find out as much information so that you can have a confident choice. And then I was able to reach out to a professional in the field of the major that she wanted, and I was given so much advice to give her and find out, you know, this is the challenges that you're going to face. This is how I combated them. And that's great information to have for professionals to really give their time and advice to you. Can really avoid making a lot of mistakes. So that's how it got started. When I moved to Charlotte, I was looking at mentoring programs around here, and I thought, you know, there's nothing like this out in the market, so I'm going to give it a go. And so far, I've gotten amazing feedback. So that's really what Find Your Legacy is. It's free, like I said, lasts maybe a month. You can repeat it as many times as you want to figure out what more majors are about if you're in high school, or grow your network and grow your advice and absorb as much wisdom as you want if you're in college. And now I want to talk about some motivation, since we have time. Motivation is something that you have to have a mindset of every day. Every day you have to choose to be motivated, and I think that's what's important. And it's just like dieting. Because I feel like that's such a broad example that everyone can understand. It's like dieting and exercising. You can have one day where you are completely off your diet and you don't exercise, and then that can be that day. And you can wake up and realize that tomorrow's a new day, and the past is in the past. I'm going to restart. Or you can say, well, I already messed up yesterday. I might as well keep this train going downhill, and I'm just going to keep messing up. That's motivation. Motivation is something you have to decide every day. And it's whether you're got rejected from jobs that you've applied to. Well, you get up the next day and you apply to more jobs. or you miss your 8 a.m. on Monday and you have stress and anxiety because you know you're behind and it's making you not want to go to the class on Wednesday. But that was Monday. This is Wednesday. This is 8 a.m. on Wednesday. We're starting anew. We're starting fresh. That's the best advice that I can give in regards to motivation, is that it is something you have to choose to be every single day. And for self-love, self-care tips, I have a morning and nighttime routine. So in the morning time, I like to meditate. And that's kind of where, we should just talk about meditating. Meditating is not like some crazy hippie thing. It's actually proven to grow the gray matter in your brain, which makes you have better cognitive function. So it makes you smarter. And it's just being mindful. It's just being in the moment, focusing on your breath. Deep breathing actually can help with emotional healing and blockage, because we tend to breathe very short breaths when we're anxious or mad, or, you're crying because you're so sad and you just are taking short breaths. So when you're meditating and you're taking deep breaths and you're just focusing on your breath, it really connects your body to your nervous system, which controls your emotions and really just keeps you in the now. And it just helps all your stress just float away into outer space. So I do that every morning. You can start off doing like 5 minutes and grow from there, but it makes you smarter. And I think it helps with emotional intelligence, which is what it sounds like, being cool, calm, and collected. And that is like something I always strive to be. And it can be hard. It really can be. So I definitely encourage meditating. And you can always find more resources online. But if you're stressed out about college and you're stressed out about finding a job, maybe you're back at home because you just graduated and you're just freaking out because you're just so scared, definitely meditate. It'll help you relieve that and just get a better focus on what it is you need to do. So another self-care tip that kind of goes into that is, if you are freaking out, so let's go back to my prior example, that you're freaking out about your career. You didn't really have a lot of internships. If you did, none of them led to a job. What are you going to do? And it's easy to get caught up in the unknown, the stress that the unknown gives. But remember that every problem has a solution. And something like finding out your career, finding out your first job, there's a solution to that. So maybe have your freak out moment, get a little bit sad, because post-college sadness, depression is real. It really is real. Sadness and depression are two different things, but some people may experience real depression and some people may experience sadness. I'm not one to define what someone else is feeling, but it's real, because when you're in college, you see your professors, you see how successful they've been, and they motivate you, especially when you get into your majors core courses. You envision yourself as your professor, who they are when they're older, because they have so much work experience, and a lot of them have gone very far in their careers. And college has this very great environment that I believe is true, that they lead to a career. But college is only one part of that process. And we always think that it's the full and final part, but it's not. So going to classes and getting a degree is one part of that process. It's knowing people, it's networking, it's visiting your career center, it's getting internships, it's volunteering, it's having a great resume, because your resume is who you are when you apply to jobs online. So really remembering that all of those things that can seem very overwhelming when it comes to graduating and your college career leading up to your actual career can really hit you, because you have this expectation that you're going to walk into your job and first of all, you're going to find your dream job. And then once you do, you're going to grow really fast and be running the company. That really is a mindset, because you have all this fresh, great knowledge and you want to apply it and you're hungry. And it's very devastating when that doesn't happen. And, you know, you can't go out on Tuesdays anymore. You can't go out on, you know, it's not as cheap to go out and have fun as it is in college. And, you know, maybe your friends that you spoke to in college and have all these great memories with, you don't really speak to anymore, or you don't get to see as much. And it's just a transition in your life that you have to get used to, because everything's just so different, but you can feel very lost. But again, remember that every problem has a solution, and the solution to that is, you know, you have a choice for your career. You have a choice for how your career is going to go. You just have to be willing to put in the work and have patience with yourself. So I was looking up career advice for recent college grads by CEOs, because they have a lot of great advice. It seems vague, but it's really not. It's a lot of wisdom. So the CEO of SoulCycle, Melanie Whalen, I believe is her last name, she said, get a job and work hard. And then, like I said, it seems so vague, but the rest of the thing, the interview, she says, you are going to learn a ton in whatever job that is. So don't stress too much about what it is or where it is. Just take a job and put your head down, work hard, raise your hand for anything anybody asks you to do. And she's basically saying you've got to forget what you think is expected of them. And again, that goes back to that culture that's in college about, you know, you're going to graduate and have the life that you want as soon as you graduate. And when she said that just get any job and you'll learn a lot from it, that's actually true. At least it was for me. I was a property manager assistant before I started this nonprofit. And I learned so much there that came over into my nonprofit, like how to, because it was a small business. So I learned some accounting tricks. I learned how to talk to clients. I learned what kind of goes into meetings when you're kind of pitching or letting someone know who's interested in working with you what your program or your business is about. I learned how to keep track of files and, you know, documentation and a lot of things. So no, it's not what I envisioned myself doing, but it was a great experience, and I did take things from it that have made running my nonprofit go a lot smoother. So I'm thankful for that, and I really think that's what she meant when she was saying, you know, just get a job and work hard. But that's also a CEO of a really big company telling people like, oh, don't worry about it. So, you know, just keep that perseverance, and learning that early on in your life is really going to help you, and it's going to fold over into other aspects of your life without you even realizing it. Learning to trust yourself, to be patient with yourself, be patient with your journey is very important, and will help you be better at relationships and friendships, will help you understand yourself more. It will give way to finding out what you want. Finding out what you want is so important in life. And really bad jobs can help you figure out what you don't want in a company culture, in a boss, in coworkers. So just learn your lessons and keep it moving, and you'll be okay. And I also want to talk about Mark Cuban's advice from Shark Tank. I love him. He said, when I speak on college campuses or talk to graduates, among the most frequent questions I receive from those poised to venture out into the world is, what do you wish you had known when you were just starting out? And he said, I usually recommend a number of key lessons that my friends, colleagues, and I have gleaned over the years. The core recommendation is that making the most of life in the workplace is much like many other aspects of life, and you need to channel the great words of President Teddy Roosevelt and get in the arena. And he said something that I really love. He said, remember, it is a small world and a long life. And isn't that so true and so sad? He says, what does he say? Did he actually say that? Who said that? I think, no. Okay, none of that was Mark Cuban. None of that. That was Jean Case, who said get in the arena. My apologies. She is the CEO of the Case Foundation. Mark Cuban said none of these things. I am a liar. Okay, Mark Ian, EIN, he is an investor, entrepreneur, chairman, and co-owner of World Team Tennis, said, remember, it is a small world and a long life. This mantra has been a guiding principle for me since I started my career and is a helpful reminder to treat people well, build relationships, develop your reputation, and take a longer-term view about your decisions and actions. The deeper you go into your career, the more you appreciate that it isn't just your recent history that matters, but the full body of your life's work that will determine your opportunity set and your ability to most effectively pursue those opportunities. Build a broad network of strong, trusted relationships, and be known as someone who people eagerly want to collaborate with. I love that. Okay, Mark from World Team Tennis out here giving the best advice. Sorry, Mark Cuban, none of that was you. Yeah, so remember that it's a small world and a long life. So if you're a bad employee, that's going to follow you around. So just try and be the best. And it starts. Let's transition this to the high school students. It starts in high school because you are going to have group projects. I did business at East Carolina University, and we have group projects all the time because they would obnoxiously tell us, this is how it's going to be whenever you get into a corporate. You're going to be working in groups, so you need to get used to it. And they would always tell us, like, you're going to have conflict. You're going to have egos. You're going to have personalities. You've got to figure it out. There's those stages to developing a group. And that was some of the most beneficial help I had gotten because you learn to work with people. And learning lessons like that in college is just going to make you a rock star out in the real world. And let's kind of talk about sadness that happens in college. You're as exciting as college is, and it's just so much freedom, and you're just responsible for yourself, but only for a certain amount. I loved college. You do get lonely. You miss your parents, whether you admit it or not. And you're kind of, there's a big part of you that's out there on your own. No one's waking you up and making sure you get to school. No one is cooking for you unless you go to the dining hall, but you know what I mean. You don't have that comfort of your home. No one's doing your laundry for you. No one's cleaning up after you. You kind of learn to take care of yourself and keep yourself accountable. And that can really bite you in the butt if you become stubborn about it and don't want to kind of grow up, because it will reflect in your GPA. If you don't hold yourself accountable, you're not going to study. If you don't hold yourself accountable, you're not going to go to your classes. If you don't hold yourself accountable, you're not going to make the most of it. So you really got to learn to be motivated, hold yourself accountable, and when that loneliness hits you, your parents are a phone call, a Skype away. Your friends from home may not be going to the same college as you, but embrace that change. Embrace the adventure, no matter how scary it is, no matter how much you feel like nothing's going to change or nothing's going to work. Embrace the experience because it is what you make of it. So that's all we have today for our very first podcast. If you're interested in leaving a comment, I would love to know a motivation tip that you guys do and a self-care tip that you guys do that, would really help out our listeners. And just sharing all those tips and tricks of life will only help us grow to be better people. So again, thank you so much for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast and tune in for many more. Bye, guys. Have a great one.